Have you ever felt like two souls were pulling you in opposite directions? One part of you craves freedom, wildness, and abandon, while the other longs for peace, order, and meaning. It's a constant battle, a tug-of-war that leaves you feeling divided. Today we're going on a journey into the mind of a man living on the edge of this division. A man torn between two worlds, one driven by raw instinct and the other by intellect and society's expectations. His name is Henry. In this story we meet Henry, a man who is not your typical hero. He's an intellectual, a thinker, but his thoughts bring him no peace. Inside him, a constant struggle rages between the untamed part of his nature that rejects the superficial world around him and the side of him that longs for meaning, beauty, and art. He calls this wild, primal force the wolf, a creature that scoffs at the constraints of society, that wants nothing more than to break free. But then there's the other side, the man, who appreciates the finer things: art, music, culture. This man, though, is just as tortured. He feels lost, inadequate, constantly seeking meaning but never finding it. This is the essence of Henry's internal division. He feels torn, unable to fully live as either the wolf or the man. Each side pulls him in a different direction and he's left in constant turmoil. As Henry walks through the world, he feels alienated, disconnected from the people and the society around him. It's a world that seems shallow, driven by materialism and empty routines. In his disillusionment, he spirals deeper into isolation, even considering the ultimate escape. The conflict within him becomes so unbearable that he can't see a way out. But then something shifts. He meets a woman named Hermine, someone who sees him for who he really is, both the wolf and the man, and she doesn't judge him. Instead, she pushes him to embrace the contradictions within him. She teaches him that life is about more than choosing between these two sides. It's about experiencing everything: joy, suffering, freedom, and responsibility. Through Hermine's guidance, Henry begins to understand that his internal conflict isn't something to be fought. It's something to be embraced. She opens his eyes to a new way of thinking, that life is not a battle between two opposites, but a balancing act that requires accepting both. At one point, Henry finds himself in a surreal, dreamlike place, a theater of the mind. Here he comes face to face with all the parts of himself he's tried to ignore. It's a place where reality and fantasy blur together, forcing him to confront his deepest fears, desires, and contradictions. In this theater, Henry sees himself in fragments, different versions of himself, each representing a part of his psyche. The wolf, the man, the artist, the rebel, they all exist within him and they are not separate. He begins to see that life is not about eliminating one side of himself, but about accepting that he is all of these things at once. This experience is transformative. He realizes that his internal division isn't something to be feared. It's a doorway to understanding. To live fully, he must embrace the chaos within him, the multiplicity of his soul. It's not an easy revelation, but it's the only path to true freedom. So, what does this all mean for us? Just like Henry, we too are divided. We constantly face conflicting desires. Our need for freedom pulling against our craving for structure, our yearning for meaning clashing with the chaos around us. But this is where the story's true lesson lies. We don't have to choose between these parts of ourselves. The conflict within us is not something to be conquered or resolved. It's something to be embraced. Each side, each desire, has its place, and the richness of life comes from learning how to live with both. The wolf and the man, the rebel and the artist, all coexist within us. Our strength lies in acknowledging this complexity, not running from it. As you move forward in your own journey, remember that the battle within you isn't something to fear. It's a sign of growth, of becoming more aware of the different parts that make you whole. Embrace the tension, the complexity, and let it guide you toward a deeper understanding of yourself and life. Take care until the next story. Goodbye.